everyone, welcome to the QuesterMage. Today I want to talk about Risen on the Nintendo Switch. More specifically, 5 aspects of the game which I think need changing / updating to make for a more pleasant experience. So sit back, relax, click like, subscribe, and hopefully enjoy. Here we go. Before we get into the Nintendo Switch version, I'd like to talk about the Piranha Bytes games overall from my personal perspective. I happily own Gothic 1, 2, 3, 4 Arcania, Risen 1, and LX, having collector's editions in that mix. I really enjoy all of these games, to the point of even including them in a previous video. That's the 5 THQ Nordic games I'd like to see on Nintendo Switch. If that interests you, please have a look at that after this video. So when I'm talking about things I want changed on the Switch version, my viewpoint is as a fan of these games on other platforms. The changes in today's video are specific to the first few hours of the game on the Nintendo Switch version itself, and specifically for the current version of this game, which is 1.01. The footage I'll be showing in this video is from the beginning of the game to avoid spoilers. I have not finished the game on the Nintendo Switch as of yet, but these issues were frequent enough in the first few hours of gameplay that they affected my overall experience. As I said, I am a fan of this game and I will keep playing it as I know it is good. I have finished it on another platform before. If this version was the first time I'm playing this game, however, then I think these issues might impact my enjoyment much more. So without further ado, here is my list of 5 things that I think need changing on the Nintendo Switch for Risen. Number 5. The D-pad use during inventory screens. Starting off with a minor-ish issue. When you open up an inventory and this screen appears, you can navigate the inventory by using the left analog stick, which is pretty much normal for this and other menus that might appear on screen. Your inventory, opening a treasure chest, trading, that sort of thing, so using the analog stick is no big deal and works fine. I, however, tried using the D-pad and then this happened. I was slightly confused as to why other menus were appearing. It might just be me, but this seems a little weird. I would think that the D-pad or analog stick would be used in these moments. The D-pad is mostly used for shortcuts in this game, hence going from the inventory to something like the map screen. Can we not change the D-pad functions from shortcuts to navigation when the player opens a menu? To me, this would make a lot of sense, but as I said, this was a minor-ish issue, but still a little annoying. Number 4. Button mapping. When starting the game, I was really surprised with some of the mapping options made for this game. I will show an image on screen to illustrate. Now, my biggest gripe here is the jump button. Is it the A button? Oh, no. Is it the B button? Also, no. Did they map it to one of the shoulder buttons? Again, no. They mapped the jump action to the R3 button. That's right, the R3 button. Now, I can't think of any other game before this one which mapped the jump action to this particular button. Jumping is usually a heavily used and quite frequent action, so why allocate the button to an analog stick? Why? A possible answer for this is they just ran out of buttons, but jumping in games is something that we do very often, and as I mentioned before on the channel, the analog stick buttons are not my favourite, but mapping jump to one of these I think is a very, very weird choice. So button mapping, to me, would be the answer. I think this should be added to allow the player to map the buttons to their own liking. It would be the simplest option as well, I think, as I might prefer the A button to jump, but others might prefer the X button to jump. So could we please add button mapping to this game? Also in future, if we are, hopefully, to get Gothic or LX, please do not assign the jump button to one of these analog stick buttons. Number 3. The game is very dark at times, and the ambient lighting seems off. I remember playing this game originally on Windows, and throughout my various playthroughs, I do not remember the game being this dark. I used the torches to light up areas that were dark, and this would help the role-playing. I don't remember squinting as much as I do in this version. Now, we know that when night comes in games, it gets dark. Like I said, role-playing, but it shouldn't be so dark that you can't see. Even during the day, the game is still quite dark. When this game gets to dusk, I generally start looking for a bed to sleep until noon, which is something I don't remember doing this often. Not wanting to play the game during the evenings is a little weird, as I do this all the time in games, but like I said, you can barely see anything. And if you have a torch equipped, you have to drop the said torch to enter combat, so good luck. I think the game's color balancing is off. It needs to be brighter overall. I couldn't see much during some of my gameplay and I changed my settings on my screen, and this did help. I'll try to replicate that on screen now with some editing. But this also shows another thing missing from this game. Here is the settings menu. Notice anything missing? There's no brightness meter. This is a hybrid system which you can play outdoors. I think games for the Nintendo Switch more than others need a brightness slider so that players can change these settings to suit their playing environment. If I find the game too dark to play indoors, how will you be able to see anything if you're playing the game handheld outdoors? Also, I don't remember the game being so washed out. I might be remembering it wrong, but I remember the game being very vibrant with colors and high in saturation. In this area of the game, it seems like the game wants to show a lot more colors, but can't. Little bit weird. It's the little things. Number 2, the lock-on during combat just unlocks for no reason. These games are known to be tough on the player, and for me it had a good balance of learning the game's mechanics equals you getting better. This is not helped by what seems like an issue during combat. I'm showing you some combat during my gameplay, but I wanted to experiment a little bit. This is a point at the beginning of the game where you can fight a certain character at the Don's camp. I tried this fight several times to see if the lock-on would unlock, and it did. Several times in fact. If you want to counteract this, you will have to move the right analog stick until the lock-on works again. I also thought that this might be because of the equipment I was using for my character. So, like a good mage, I changed to equip a staff. This did seem to help a little bit, but the issue was still there. The lock-on just unlocks. If you are new to Risen and you see this, I don't think you'd be particularly impressed, and would probably proceed to tell other gamers that this game's combat is not good. I like the game's combat, but this is a massive issue. If this is not supposed to be here, please fix it. When the lock-on works, it works well. When it doesn't, I immediately get frustrated, as when you fail in the game, it now seems like the game's fault, and nothing to do with your skill level. Please fix this. Number 1, frame stuttering when autosaving. Let me say that again, every time the game autosaves, this happens. Did you see it? The game stutters. Always. Not sometimes. Every time the game autosaves. Now, why is this such a big deal? Every time this happens, I'm taken out of the experience. All the work that the employees done to make this world, the voice acting, the awesome music, all together creating an immersive experience in which I believe to be controlling a character in this magical, fantastical world. All undone when the game autosaves, like every 5 minutes. This issue is a constant reminder to the player that you are indeed playing a game. If issues like this happen now and again, it's okay, but every time the game autosaves, it is very, very distracting. Please fix this issue. This world deserves to be played and enjoyed, not constantly interrupted. And that will conclude my 5-ish needed changes for Risen on the Nintendo Switch, at least a few hours into this game. Once again, let me say that I love Gothic, Risen and Alex. They have their quirks, but I really enjoy these games and I want others to enjoy them too. The point of making this video is not to trash on these games, but far from it. I care, and as someone that cares about these games, I want them to be in the best possible condition so that other players can enjoy them too. The Nintendo Switch version of Risen for me obviously has issues, but overall I am still enjoying the game. But like I said at the start, this is also due to nostalgia. If this was my first time playing the game, I don't know if I'd like it as much. And that would be a shame, as this is a great game. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you very much again for watching. If you like what I do here, please click that like button down below. If you want to see more, please click that subscribe button, as that is the only way this channel can grow. Now, I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, thanks again.